Sometimes we get so caught up in all the things we're trying to do to be successful artists that we forget how important and joyful it is to put energy into the friendships we make along the way. Plus, the EU Commission says App Store is in breach of competition law and unfairly favored Apple Music over other music streaming services. Stick around, we have a lot to talk about. Hello, welcome to Music Industry City's Monday Kickoff, where we offer important tips for a successful career and get you motivated for the week ahead. I'm Peter Schwing, and joining me today is my fellow co-hosts, Ayesha and the Duke. If there's something you'd like to chime in about, feel free to join us in the chat. We're on a whole bunch of different platforms here, or afterwards, hit the comments below, and we'll be sure to respond. But let's kick off Monday by checking in with Ayesha and the Duke. What is up, everybody? How you doing?
Hello.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm doing well. Good weekend. Things are happening. Looks like, states, cities, things are starting to open up in the U.S. Concerts are starting to be announced, shows, lots of good times, and people getting vaccinated, so things are looking good.
Yeah, for sure. I just got my second vaccine on Thursday, so I'm super psyched.
Right, which one did you get?
Moderna.
Oh, no. It's all about the Pfizer. It's all about the Pfizer. There is actually an article, the Pfizer Elite, like talking about like the elitism that comes with the people that have gotten the Pfizer shot. It's like,
Well, I
oh
don't
no.
know. I'm happy with Moderna.
Yeah.
I'm quite happy.
And
When
the
do you
other
get
thing is,
yours?
did you get any side effects after the second shot?
No, just my arm. Like
Hmm.
I felt like my arm might fall off, but like other than that, fine.
Right on. Yeah, I think they're saying like, because the reason a lot of people are getting the side effects from the second shot is because the second shot is the one they put the microchip in.
Wow.
Ha ha ha. No, I think it's because you already have like, your body building up antibodies and attacking it right away because you've had the first shot.
Hmm.
Um, Although, yeah, I didn't have much of anything, and neither did any of my family members.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
good. Yeah, I had a,
yeah.
I felt it in the arm and I was tired. I was maybe tired for about 24 hours. But Dave, how are you doing?
I'm blessed,
I,
guys.
I think I saw that you were outside in New York with your workspace. What is it?
Yeah, there's a concert series that happens outside my studio, the Willie B Labs in Williamsburg. It's on Manhattan Ave between Mauer and Grand Street. Every Saturday, bands play. They have DJs. So my studio's there, and I make clothing. So we come out with the racks. You know what I mean? We sell stuff off the racks. We make friends, and
Nice.
it's rad. It's rad.
Right on, man.
That's so
So
cool.
give us a preview of what you have. You're going to be talking about today.
We're gonna talk about Apple and like monopolies and all the vibrations of the digital age.
Right on. All right, but first, let's kick over to Ayesha, who's going to be talking about friends you
Hey.
make along the way because it's a journey, and sometimes things don't always go the way you planned, but you do sometimes meet quite a great crew of people. So, Ayesha, tell us a little
Yeah.
bit more about like what your topic is.
Well, it's really just we're getting to the point where we're going to be able to see each other in person again, and it's really about making time for the friends you've got and how important friendships are as part of this career. Yeah.
And also friendships that you started making digitally, like whether you're a Clubhouse or you've been in VR or just on Zoom calls, and you've made some virtual friends that you might not be able to see in person right away, but maybe I think there's already this like plans of like, hey, how do we all get together somewhere and like meet up for kind of a vacation? So I'm gonna let you take it away.
Yeah, so as artists, there's so much stuff on our plates, right? in addition to making the music, writing the music, recording the music, figuring out how to perform the music, now you've got to promote the music. You've got to have, your whole social media thing going on, trying to make music videos and content and maintain that visibility. So we're all inundated, right? And especially, we have this new kind of regimen that we've built around being at home. But with all that going on, sometimes we forget the most basic thing of all, which is one of the most valuable things in the career journey, of course, is who you know, and that's our friendships. And it's also, not only one of the most helpful things, but one of the most fun things about this whole journey. And when we get down, it's the thing that we can turn to and really say, but I'm having some good times, even with everything that's going on and the ups and downs of this career. So last week, I finally had the chance to have an in-person lunch with an industry friend of mine, a fellow creative that I hadn't seen since before lock, actually. And we were both, we both had other things going on that day, or both busy people, but we ended up having a 3.5 hour lunch, and it was wonderful. It was everything we needed, and it was so, so great. And as we're entering these summer months, with the weather warming up, and in particular with people getting vaccinated, like we were just talking about, and the opportunities to meet up in person becoming greater, there are going to be a lot of chances to meet up with friends that we've met online, and also new music colleagues that we've met on the online space. And we should really be celebrating that. And sure, we don't want to drop everything we're working on creatively. We don't want to drop all the momentum that we have and the buzz that we might have been creating with kind of regimen that we had with our online things while we were locked at home. But we also need to remember that the connections we make with other people on the individual level are some of the real jewels of this journey. Now, I know some of you are like, you don't need to tell me twice. I can't wait to see the people. Bring me the people. And that's a wonderful thing. But others of you might be getting that little bit of anxiety about, how are you going to balance, the new regimens of your life and career with, you know, the whole being out in the world again as a regular person. And I know I've had a bit of that. A little bit of that has crossed my mind. And to that, I just want to say that we need to remind ourselves to just enjoy. When we flash back on the memories of our life and of our creative and career journeys, we probably won't be flashing to the times we were uploading that file to YouTube or answering all the DMs that we got. But we're going to remember our friends and the good times we spent largely in person, and how that made us feel. And hey, some of the best work we do and some of the best opportunities we have also come out of our friendships. So in these coming weeks, I just want to encourage you to lighten up on everything and enjoy, and let's go make some more memorable times. Let's do this.
Right on. A few things. It's like the new circles of friendships that you're making in business, acquaintances. It's expanding the network in a sense in your friendship circle. And I hear people because we do stuff in VR, and the connections I made in VR, or the people that I knew in real life and have gone over to VR, and we get to hang out. And VR is such a different world of a different than just a Zoom call where you're just staring at
Sure.
each other at a box. Like, you are engaging and you're talking to other people like this, you're spinning around. It's a completely different engagement. But I've already met people through VR that I'm doing business with. I've never met them IRL, but we're doing business together. We're doing stuff like, oh, you know all this tech stuff. Great. I need a tech person that can do XYZ. So you have that. So your business network, and also then that network is also like, hey, I'm doing stuff, and we're not going to see each other. Me and this one person will probably maybe never see each other, but we know what each other look like in VR. So, but the other thing is, people already talking about in that space is that they've made these friends online, and it's not like it was just a month. This has been over a year. And some of them have developed these friendships, and it's like, well, now that we're all going out and hanging out with our friends because we haven't seen them in over a year, and it's like we go to have drinks, and like you said, a 3-hour lunch. Well, then it's like, oh, well, you kind of like forget about your virtual friends, but then there's going to be a correction about like how to now balance time between real life friends and saying, and there was a discussion, it was like, maybe I won't go out on Thursday nights anymore, and I'll continue to go to this VR party and hang out with my virtual friends because this is the time I get to chat with them, because it's all about the bonding of communication.
Yes,
And that's the thing.
absolutely.
And the fact that, yeah, okay, I can have a drink with me or something. It's a little weird wearing a headset and trying to drink, but everybody can tell when you're drinking if you have your headset on because your head just goes like this. But but the thing is, it's like, so it's not, you don't want to drop those friends because you never know what's going to come out of it, and maybe you can select a get together someplace in the middle, in middle America. It's like, let's go to Kansas and just meet up there or something, one of those kind of situations.
I love that idea of meeting in Kansas, you know? Why not Kansas? Why not?
Why not?
Yeah, I think you're totally right about the correction thing that, it's going to swing one way and then there's going to be this balance that you find with these two things. And yeah, that's going to be a good part of this year, I think.
All right, on. Yeah, we're gonna see what happens. I'm gonna throw over to Dave, but we're gonna all come back and talk more about this. All right? Yeah, da da da. All right. Well, this one, if you've been paying attention at all to anything in the tech news about Apple, Apple versus Epic, the download store, the App Store, the all the you know royalties, the cuts, the percentages, everything, the in-app purchases has been going on, and then Spotify has been complaining about that, and now it's gone to the EU Commission, and here to talk more about this is the Duke, Dave. This is something to watch because it's really interesting about competition laws, things like that.
Yeah, it's the monopoly aspect, you know what I mean? But just now in the digital realm, I feel like it's probably maybe the first energies of the digital realm versus the physical retail store or business that service you were providing previous.
Hmm. Yeah, it's really interesting. So, you know what? Take it away. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this because I've been following this one for a little while. So, get your opinion.
Yeah, like I said, I feel like this is the beginning of the digital age. Like this is a transitional period. Like I don't know if you guys take the train. This is a New York City thing, but we have Metro cards, right? But now we have this new thing where they got the app on your phone, right? So put on your phone. And previous to that was tokens. In the digital age we live in, the thing that people will look back on in wonderment, it will be like retail stores. It'll be like, wow, there was actually a store where I could go and purchase these things. Well, we live in the digital realm now, so everything's in the app store. So even the app store itself is a monopoly, right? You got the Google one and you got the Apple one, Apple one. So even that in itself, if you want to get an app, you have to go through these things. So it's just you could feel the walls of everything closing in. And in the time of Spotify, these places like, yes, Spotify is not a monopoly, but best of luck to you in your career if your music is not on Spotify. And don't think that they're not going to get stronger. They're only going to get stronger. It only gets stronger and stronger and stronger. We can only look at the past in some ways to try to see what happened previously. What MySpace was a digital thing, AOL was a digital thing, but it's just feels different now in the time of social media with the Twitters and the Instagrams and all these things. They feel like they'll never leave. They all feel like just like behemoths that are like, try to live without Facebook, try to do it. Like you're not gonna be able to do it. Spotify, YouTube, best of luck to you with your music video releasing rollout when you don't post to YouTube because you want to go with an alternative site. It's not gonna be possible. So it's the same thing with the Apple, and you need to have commissions. You need to have people. This is some Star Trek shit. This is exactly what they did on Star Trek. Have all the commissions, all the different people from all the different galaxies, and they would all come together and go, I don't know if this is good for the galaxy. And I think the same thing with the digital realm. We got to look at it and set up something where it's like, okay, is it okay that one Apple or whatever Google, whoever it is, has so much dominance and power? Is that okay? Is that good for everybody in the long term? Or will we end up like the Matrix when they had to scorch the sun and you said, wow, that's so crazy. They scorched the sun. That was the only way they could kill the robots. That's what they did. You know what I'm saying? So if we live in a time where it's like scorching the sun starts to look like a possibility, um, I think we need to stir the other way, and that's how I feel about Apple and the App Store and just controlling things like they do. But it's Apple. It's Apple. They already got us. So we really got to see how do you wiggle out of something that they already strongholded you with the phone, and you got the and it's a whole vibe, man. Steve Jobs, he had a vision, but I don't know who the holder of the vision is now for the digital age. Elon Musk, maybe, I'm not sure. I'm gonna end it on that. That's what
Right
I have
on,
to say.
right on. Yeah, so many like few little takeaways, and I pull up some information here, and Apple versus Epic Games. It's the in-app purchase and transactions. Apple takes 15 to 30% commission. And what they're saying is these fees prevent competitors like Spotify from offering the same service at the same price as Apple. And this means apps like Spotify or Netflix only allow users to log into their accounts inside the app, and the customers must know to sign up and subscribe on their website. And the big thing, so when the European competition commissioner was saying it's like their preliminary findings, and this was based because Spotify filed this in 2019, so it just came up to the vote. So our preliminary finding is that Apple is a gatekeeper to users of iPhones and iPads via the App Store. With Apple Music, Apple also competes with music streaming providers by setting strict rules on the App Store that disadvantage competing music streaming services. Apple deprives users of cheaper music streaming choices and distorts competition. This is done by charging high commission fees on each transaction in the App Store for rivals and by forbidding them from informing their customers of alternative subscription options. There is a potential that Apple will be fined $27 billion, which is 10% of their revenue. And one of the things in the other article, and I don't have it, so I'm paraphrasing, is a quote by an Apple spokesperson. Is they said, they acknowledge Spotify is the leading music streaming platform, and they said, and we are happy to have played a large part in their growth. Which
Who
is
said that?
always Apple said that. So
Okay, a
Apple,
spokesperson or
yeah, a spokesperson from Apple said they're pretty much taking credit for the growth of Spotify, saying that Apple was happy to be part of helping Spotify to grow, which goes back to Apple's what they were talking about when they launched iTunes. We saved the music industry. So it's always been part of that kind of verbiage from the Apple camp, is that look what we've done to help you. And I mean, yes, they have done plenty to help us. But when it comes to something like this, they're saying that, oh, well, we helped Spotify become what Spotify is.
it's technology. They're using technology to basically say like, look what we've done for you. And then the other side, they're like, right this way. And they're just gonna take everything that you got on the back end.
It's almost like a bad relationship.
Yeah, I mean, like what you're saying is deep because you're talking about finance and the numbers that you threw out there on the commissions that they're taking, 20% or 30%, I think you said. And then you got the government's gonna take another bunch of your money, and then it's like, okay, so like how are you really going to be an entrepreneur financially in the digital realm when everybody's in your pocket before you even eat anything? They already ate 70% of your apple. It's deep. It's deep.
Yeah, right on. And one of the final things, and it's also like the podcast wars, because it's Apple Podcasts versus Spotify, so there's that war going on, and Apple's now has you can subscribe. So they set it up that as a podcaster, you can charge for subscriptions to your podcast through the Apple Store, and Apple saying that we will take 30% of your first year subscriptions, and then after that it'll drop to 15 or 5 or something like that. But Spotify is offering the same thing, but they're not taking a cut of that, because one of the reasons was because if you have subscriptions, it's considered an in-app purchase, and then Apple will take the cut. A lot of moving parts.
Spotify doesn't want to take a cut, or that's how they're gonna try to get the market of it.
Well, that's all part of it. So I'm gonna bring in Ayesha back in, and so it can
Yeah.
like tie everything together. It's yeah. So how the thing, just to final finish up, Dave, is like, I'm not exactly sure like what Spotify is using as the angle, if they're even talking, because they were talking about focus on Apple Music, and that was before this podcasting thing. So the what they filed with the commission was already in 2019, so it has nothing to do with podcasting, but it's bringing to that attention is about the App Store and the fees. And typically we see like US, there's the, competition law and stuff like that. The EU sometimes leads the way on that. So
What
it's
is
a
the
battle.
EU? What is the EU? Like, where'd they come from?
It's the European Union. So it's the
And all of a
collective.
sudden now they're why isn't the United States government doing it? How come it's just Europe?
Completely, so it's completely separate entities. So it's like the European Union, they, because it's like, in essence, it's, I believe it's probably because like you have more countries together, so they work together for all representing Europe. So like, say like you have the Nordics, it covers Denmark, Sweden, Finland, things like that. And so this is representing Europe, and that you can be part of the European Union. It's kind of like part of like the whole thing with Brexit, where it's like they don't want to be part of all of that. So if the European Union was to say enforce something, it's not necessarily enforced in the UK because the UK is not part of the European Union.
Ooh, you know what you need
But
to
yeah, I
do?
think the
Maybe make.
values.
Go ahead. Sorry, Aisha. Go ahead.
I think, no, I was just saying, I think the values of the EU make it such that they would go after this, kind of antitrust stuff more than the US would, just because of how we are here with corporations. And I don't know, it just makes sense to me that they would go after it more than we do. But that's just me. I don't know.
Well, they also, it's not like politicians sitting in Congress like that we have.
I mean,
That's true.
I think this
But
feels like a
I
deep
want to
story
like
for the future. Oh, go ahead.
this thing you're
Go ahead.
saying about the Apple podcasts, taking 30%. Like, what are they giving for that? Are they promoting your podcast more heavily? What are they offering for that? Because here's the deal, like, what the Duke was saying before about, are these, entities going to go away, like living without Facebook or Instagram? Well, actually, I kind of think, I know that Facebook will be around for a long time, because in certain parts of the world that are not the United States, it's like being on the internet is being on Facebook, like in certain like Southeast Asian countries and all. But here, it's kind of over. And the reason like Instagram is on the wane, Facebook is on the wane with like, US creators is because they're not promoting the creators in the way that, say, TikTok is, for example. Like, why would I, when I have like, over 25,000 followers on Instagram, but only 10% of them see my posts? Why would I post there when I don't even have like 1,000 followers on TikTok yet? And yet some of my posts will get 20,000, 30,000 views. Like, so wouldn't it behoove me to go with the app that's using an algorithm that benefits the creator more and like does a little more for me? I think if you're going to take 30% on the podcast, like, what are you offering? Like, are you offering promotion? Because that's what everybody wants who's a creator.
Well, they're offering the ability for you to use their platform to store and upload your content to their platform that they put onto the different platform that other people can find it. And they are offering the opportunity for you to make money by allowing you to set subscription prices and tier. Well, they have the tiers, but then they do all the transactions for you. Now, here's the other thing. On top of that 30%, we don't know. It's like there is, when you have a payment gateway, so now there is, depending on what you're doing, is like, is that the 30% plus the payment gateway? So like what David was talking about, saying, it's like, well, before you even eat, it's like half the pie is gone. before you even sit down at the
And if
table.
Spotify is not doing that, like if Spotify is not charging 30% for the same thing and Spotify is Spotify, I mean,
But the in-app
I don't know,
purchases,
man.
so Spotify would be charged. It's either Spotify is being charged for the in-app purchases. So if I get a subscription, that's an in-app purchase, and Spotify is going. There's a cut from that. So say if it's a $10, I believe this is how it works. So say I'm a podcaster and I charge for subscription. Somebody pays $10 for a subscription because that's an in-app purchase. What they're saying is that Apple automatically takes $3. Okay. They automatically take $3 off of that. So now Spotify, now I have to get paid. So it's already gone. Now, is
Mm-hmm.
Spotify, if it was going to be Spotify, then would have to collect their and take their cut for providing that service if they wanted to do it. So what they're saying is maybe it's also a PR
Right.
saying, hey, we're going to be nice about this and just offer you XYZ, but because of the payment structure, it can't be through the app. They have to create a separate system for it altogether. Like it
Got
can't be
it.
done within the app. That's the other thing. Is they're
Yeah.
also saying that if people sign up through to Spotify through the app, so I pay $10 a month to listen to Spotify.
Right.
Spotify is getting $7. If I
Right.
signed up on
Mm.
if I signed up on Spotify's website,
Website.
then it's $10. So Spotify gets the full amount.
And so is Spotify big enough to say, well, you know, we're doing our own thing now. We're now going to just have, you know, subscriptions through our website.
Funny thing you said. If Spotify can create its own downloadable app, sure, why not? It just wouldn't be in the App Store. There are apps that you can download, okay? But
Hmm.
will Apple then turn around and say, no, you can't download unauthorized apps to the Apple phone, to the iPhone, unless it's in the App Store? So that's a
Ooh,
thing.
they're gonna block them. Gonna strong arm them.
Right.
It's
So
rough.
now there's something, one thing, and the second is that there's a bigger play going on with Spotify as well, and that's their uh, their play dates, Facebook. When Spotify first came out, there was a period that was you could register at Spotify. Then there was a second period when it came to the U.S. that people had to link their Facebook account. Like they had to register and link their Facebook account to Spotify. Nothing came out of that. But now, if you are linked, and you can still link it, you can see your Facebook friends and like their activity. That was the initial thought about it. Nothing ever really happened with that. What is happening now is Facebook, and you're going to see these changes over the next couple months as they roll out, is that you will be able to listen to Spotify inside of Facebook. You will also be able to listen to Spotify podcasts inside Facebook. So this is now a game changer, and might look back to that initial partnership between Spotify and Facebook as potentially one of the most brilliant like deals ever put in place to lock everything in that ecosystem. So in essence, could Spotify do it? They could. Would Apple make it difficult? Absolutely.
That's really interesting. I'm interested to see what happens with the Facebook thing, even though I'm not on Facebook that much anymore.
Facebook is trying to make it harder for you not to be.
They're not succeeding yet. Like, you know, tracking my content, bitches. That's what's up.
Well, there's another thing. Facebook is also coming out like they had rooms, but then they're coming out with the audio, like a Clubhouse, quote unquote competitor. They're doing these shorts where you can leave almost like I think you can leave like voice messages or like you can create a voice memo and post it on your wall. I don't know. We'll see what all these. Yeah, there's a whole lot going on. Here's something else new to play with.
Yay.
All right, let's get final thoughts as we wrap up. Dave, final thoughts.
My final thoughts is like when Netflix was popping, and well, Hulu was popping first, right? and then Hulu, and then you had the Netflix, and then you had Amazon. All this stuff is rad. I didn't see Disney Plus coming. I didn't see HBO Max. You know what I mean? Like they just keep throwing in Paramount Plus and all this type of stuff. To me, it's like, and I love the 80s metal bands, but it's like when you zoom out and you just see blonde haired dudes headbanging, it's like they all look the same. And I just see the same thing happening here where it's like, okay, Clubhouse is popping. All right, let's all copy Clubhouse. TikTok's popping. We'll all copy that until it's just like some bullshit, and it becomes mashed potatoes, and then you don't even want to eat it. It's just bland like everything else. That's my final thought. I think there's going to be a war for the digital age, and it's going to be Apple on one side and whoever they get, and then the other behemoth will be like Facebook and Spotify and whoever they get, and then maybe we'll scorch the sun just to make it right. I'm not sure.
It's all about scorching the sun. Ayesha, final thoughts.
I don't know which of the AI overlords will win the battle, but I do know that I like mashed potatoes and gravy. Thank you.
And speaking of when the AI revolution comes, I always say, when I speak to Alexa, I always say thank you. I always say thanks for looking that up because, you know, when the AI revolution comes, I want them to say, hey, no, he's okay. He was polite to us.
That's a great one. That's comedy, man.
Right on. All right. Thank you so much. And with that being said, we are wrapping up for the day. If you want to find out more about Music Industry City, you can go to musicindustrycity.com. Register for free. We do a lot of talks. We do daily talks in Clubhouse, the Good Day Music World. We also do a daily music news power hour, and we have a whole bunch of other things going on. So if you find this interesting, click that subscribe button, ring the notification bell, all that other good stuff. And we are going to see you back here soon. And once again, thanks to my co-hosts, Ayesha and the Duke. Have a good one.